Hey dumplings, it's Dave Desai. Okay, today we need to talk about Jin's new music video, The Astronaut. I wanted to get into some specific scenes, hate comments, and all that stuff. We need to talk about Jin apologizing for something he did apparently, and of course, we need to talk about Jin just being done with Wootteo. So, hate it or not, make sure to subscribe with the notification bell on. Grab your dumplings, he's spilling mug merch, and let's get into it. Wootteo, if you aren't aware, is Jin's new stuffed animal. Jin usually brings one of the BT21 stuffed animals to the airport when he travels. The one that represents him the best is RJ. And there became this joke that Jin doesn't go anywhere without him. When reporters and paparazzi got photos of Jin with a new stuffed animal named Wootteo, who is an astronaut, people were making memes and jokes that RJ would feel like he was betrayed. Later, Jin was asked about RJ and where RJ was. Jin responded saying that RJ had become super famous and was doing his own thing. Wootteo is also the perfect companion to bring along given what the character is and the new song that Jin was putting out. It worked out so perfectly. It was likely planned, but it definitely allowed Jin to make the most of his promotion and make the most money possible. A very smart move. BTS members always have a cute way of celebrating or showing their love for new pieces of art that they create. Whether that's a whole new merch line, a literal pop-up store, or just photo cards and those things. Oftentimes the members also do a live stream to really talk to everyone, and this is really like the best way as they can more easily gauge the reaction of the fandom and what they're feeling towards the song. Jin held a live stream for The Astronaut and even had a birthday cake and a whole celebration. He was treating the stream similar to a birthday as this was the birth of the song. I will also be celebrating or reacting to The Astronaut on Patreon, so make sure you check that out if you would like to join us over there. I will link that below. But aside from the cake, he also made sure that Wootteo made an appearance. He just made Wootteo dance a little bit and showed him off, and then people found it so funny how Jin literally threw Wootteo away after Jin was done with him. Jin yeeted him. Of course, I think we as the audience tend to get a little too attached to these cute characters, but they are just characters and that's important to know. Jin likely has no real attachment to these characters. He likely just has the attachment to how armies react to the characters. Like if they make armies happy, then he is happy about that. At the end of the day, none of the BTS members are extremely materialistic, and if all these stuffed animals, dolls, money go away, they would still be able to find happiness doing what they love. The members have made it very clear that they love what they do and are sad to go away. Jin specifically has made it pretty obvious that he would like to continue to do music and is sad to leave to enlist. That doesn't mean he is angry about enlisting or hates his country, he just may not want to pause his career right now. The music video for The Astronaut touches upon a lot of these topics. Unlike a lot of music videos, there can tend to be messages that are more hidden and need further interpretation, but with this music video, the message is pretty clear and in your face. The music video is about him. Jin represents a bit of an out-of-this-world character, and he eventually finds his way home to family and friends. This could be seen as a video representing how Jin feels towards him finding BTS and ARMY. Jin was definitely an adult when BTS debuted, and enough of an adult to know who he was as a person. He may have felt during that time it was difficult for him to fit in, and he finally found a place within BTS and ARMY. People interpret the little girl in the music video as ARMY. The little girl would wait for Jin to come back home, and this is interpreted to mean that ARMY will wait for Jin to come back from the military. Now, these are the more obvious moments, but there lies even deeper and more nuanced moments that require a bit more thinking. There is a scene where Jin is wearing a black suit and he is walking down the street. There seem to be a bit more stop signs than usual. Typically with videos, there are very little coincidences. If something is bright red or has words, it'll usually be covered unless it means something. This is because on professional sets, the entire set and whatever is seen on camera is curated. From the lighting to what the people wear and definitely the words. People believe that the stop signs represent all of the hate that Jin is receiving and has received, and in the video we can clearly see even with the stop signs, Jin is still walking and continuing to keep going. If you don't know the entire context of this, let me explain. Jin and BTS have gotten so much hate over the fact that they have still yet to enlist. Suga even wrote in one of his songs, What Do You Think?, where he throws shade at people who have thrown shade at BTS for not enlisting yet. There is no doubt a conversation that BTS has had with each other about whether to enlist or not. Jin was about 28 or 27 at the time when he had written and put out his song Abyss. He spoke in detail about how the song was supposed to represent his feelings towards burnout. My interpretation of this song and why he was feeling burnt out was because he was doing everything he was supposed to do, but still probably seeing hate towards him for just not enlisting. This is typically how burnout starts. You feel like you're working harder than ever before without any of the new rewards. Maybe even looking towards your peers and starting to compare to them and wondering why you're not seeing the same success. Of course, the only factor that we know of that is different from Jin and his peers was the looming military enlistment. Jin received hate comments in waves saying he hates Korea, that he is a terrible person, all of that stuff. And the bottom line is the decision for him to enlist wasn't something he could just up and decide on his own. It was likely the decision of BTS, HYBE, or the government, and Jin just didn't want to interfere in their decision. BTS as a whole wanted to make a decision that would be best for the group. HYBE had to make their decision, or at least feel safe that their stock wouldn't tank too much if Jin enlisted. And the government was still in debate as to whether or not they wanted a superstar powerhouse to enlist or disappear for 2 years. I think the haters did not like these scenes and did not like how Jin was addressing this. It felt very direct to the haters and calling them out. I would imagine they would feel somewhat shameful or want the scene deleted because it really shined a light on their behavior and misunderstanding. One of the biggest misunderstandings in the industry, I think, is to assume that most people you see on camera are operating alone. There's plenty of people who work by themselves, but most people do not. Most people have editors or an agency they're a part of. All of these opinions and outside forces go into the person you may see on screen. To assume that every decision they make is even 100% their own decision is definitely something that you should not assume, especially in K-pop. I don't know what the exact situation is for BTS, but this is more general. A really good example of things not appearing how they are was a recent situation where Jin was at the airport. This was him flying over to Coldplay's show to do his performance for the Astronaut. He ended up meeting with Chris Martin and they seemingly had a great time. But before then, there were several people apparently waiting for him at both the Korean airport and the airport in Argentina. There's already this huge debate as to whether or not people should even be waiting at the airport to meet Jin, and that's up for debate. Jin left the Korean airport very fast. He made his appearance, waved to some reporters and army, but definitely did not stop and interact with that many people. A lot of idols will stop and interact, but only if it's safe to do so. The members and the members' team can easily look at a situation, see how many people are there, and then gauge whether or not it is safe to stop. If Jin were to stop for a minute, it would give the crowd an opportunity to jump on him or touch him, which is not really that big of an issue, but if there's 50 people rushing over, then someone can get trampled. And with the amount of reporters there, that would definitely be huge news. And Jin's name is now associated with this death or hospitalization. Jin knew this, and very quickly after he landed, made sure to make a post. He hopped on Weverse and wrote, "I've arrived safely and well in Argentina. I am sorry to everyone who was at the airport. There were too many people gathered, so I was unable to exit through there in case all of you might get hurt. I wanted to make sure to see you. I'm sorry. If possible, it would be really nice if I can see you at the concert." I believe he is referring to the Coldplay concert here. People were upset that Jin was even apologizing, saying that he did not need to apologize for showing up at the airport and that the people who showed up were the ones that needed to apologize. But I also wanted to put out another thought. If Jin showed up at the airport and and not a single soul showed up, then all the headlines would be about how Jin became a flop or whatever. So pick your poison here. You can't have both. But also, if a celebrity doesn't want to be seen, they won't be. Jin can easily go from his blackout car to the back entrance of the airport and never be seen publicly. So many artists do that. There's also the fact that BTS can just take a private jet if they are against being seen. It's because they want to be. K-pop idols treat the airport like a fashion runway. It's a way to get people hype and more media coverage. I am so tired of reading these comments saying that members being photographed at the airport is a bad thing. Does it sometimes go awry and not as planned? Sure, but that still results in good press or neutral press for the idol. Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out my Patreon for more videos, link down below. Thanks for this lovely comment right here. Love you, bye.